Have any of you guys ever seen a horse be birthed in real life?
No. I've had a horse step on my foot.
Okay.
I've seen 3 humans been born.
Been born. Yeah.
This is the second episode.
This is the second episode of
Hold Your
Horses. You know what? Actually, here's a fun scenario. I'll set this one up. Let's just pretend we're in a shack, and Trav says, "Hey, 7 o'clock work for everyone?" And we say, "Sure." And we all, get here
at 7.
At 7.
Yep.
And we get in here, and it's a school night, and some of us have work. At least 2 of us have work tomorrow. I'm a little confused about what the third one will be doing. And we sit down, and suddenly there's a few technical issues. Travis says, "Don't worry about it." And so we don't. And then an hour later,
8:16
an hour and 16 minutes later, we're jumping right in. And I'm not going to lie, Trav.
We have a bone
to pick with you.
So yeah, this is
turn of the century.
episode 2 of Hold Your Horses, and
Episode.
it was what did I?
Episode.
You said episeed or something weird.
Episode 2 of Hold Your Horses, and it was my turn to pick an idiom, and I chose "I have a bone to pick with you."
I'd like to know why you chose this.
Well, it was
ones.
briefly referenced in last week's podcast.
So
Our
2
first
people listening right now
will understand it.
that.
But either way, it would have had to come up eventually because we are going to be covering
A lot
idioms.
of ground. Covering a lot of ground.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious on the origin and the meaning behind it because, for humans, in my mind, I can't, if it was 2 dogs talking, like that makes,
Maybe.
I could see something like that.
You know who I picture whenever I hear that phrase is, I think it's Scar in The Lion King. Something where he's picking his teeth. Is that ringing a bell with a bone?
I remember that.
So you're thinking
Yeah.
It's an actual teeth picking scene.
That's what I picture. I'm not really sold on that.
Okay.
Answer.
It's like
Okay.
a very thin, slender bone sliver.
Right, like a
That would be
toothpick.
good for doubling as a
right.
toothpick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Scar has.
So you'd be
antelope
talking.
in his teeth.
You'd be talking to your mouth,
No.
holding the toothpick, and say, "Hey, I have a bone to pick with you."
You're talking to your teeth.
Right.
Right. Hey.
And your teeth are technically bone.
Okay. So I'm picking you with one of your own kind. That's the dumbest thought you've ever had.
No, it's logical from where you took it.
All right, well, let's steer this back on track.
The only thing relevant that I can picture is at Thanksgiving. I have the wishbone. Let's pick it apart.
Yeah.
Something like that. I have a bone to pick with you. But it is a mind. It's the origin of this one is going to be
Here it
very
is.
interesting. What do you
Here
got?
it is.
Yep,
Okay.
I knew it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the sky is midnight blue.
Oh dear.
Sun is going down. We're in a little village, right? The fire is kind of smoldering.
Sure.
We've got a lot of
Grease.
our ancestors there, clothed in,
Rags. Skins.
animal hides. There's some fresh bones, right? I'm thinking rib cages
Good.
where the bones are plentiful and they're all lined up.
Great.
And so back then, when they had to confront somebody, and if Lorg wasn't pulling his weight during the hunt,
Right.
and somebody had to bring it up to him,
Right.
what they would do, it's an ancient ticketing system.
Oh.
They would pick the bone,
Okay.
have it, and then like give it to the person and lay it at their feet.
Wait, Lorg, which is Lorg picking them? I lost
Yeah.
where Lorg was. Is he receiving the bone, and the guy that's upset with him is like, Lorg, come here, Lorg, come here, on the hunt.
Yeah.
You failed miserably. And he hands him a bone, and that's like
or he
like
throws
the
it at
status.
his
or he kind of
feet.
throws it, and
like,
Lorg
I have a bone
walks
to
in
pick
shame.
with you. Yep.
What about
That's where it came from.
See here, no. You are so wrong, but you did actually spark a thought in my mind.
Good. That's all
So-
I wanted.
The picking of the bone in my mind is it's a meal, and I'm actually picturing Sword in the Stone right now. The older
Oh,
brother,
yeah.
What? And he's,
Right,
and then
'cause
he's
he said Zord.
Oh, and there's a scene.
Yep.
And it's this. There's always a little bit on the bone, right?
Yeah.
And picking the bone is this kind of like I'm kind of honing in on like something, the last little there's something, I don't know, like the last piece of something very specific, like I'm just kind of
But the
working
most
at this
important.
that's bugging me maybe.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking more like Donner Party status, or like headhunters,
Okay.
cannibalism.
Right.
Like, okay, your turn to pick a bone because I got the last
Like
pick.
everyone's circled around and
Yeah.
like looking at each
And
other.
you like, it's
and
like
kind of-
drawing straws.
No, I think we need to just look this one up because clearly
Is it-
we are just off.
Well,
Does anybody have another?
I mean, we gotta
All right, so you're
have an
sticking-
idea.
No, Tom is looking up.
I'll
He
look
is
it up.
presenting the
I'll look it
origin.
up.
Okay.
I like my Lorg Neanderthal.
Lorg Neanderthal. So you
I
think,
think that's where it came from.
It
and
was
then
passed-
From there,
so-
it got refined, but that's for
but
sure
it was,
the origin.
you think they'll
of
say
bone to pick.
before prehistory recording?
Who's gonna
Didn't it-
I
Who's
know,
gonna tell me
I
it's
know.
wrong?
Hey,
though?
isn't there
How
like
do we know?
Isn't there some sort of
How do we know?
What do you mean? How do we know that we're gonna look it up?
Yeah, but how do we know where that came from?
The person that wrote it.
Yeah, the previous,
Didn't it-
the original.
Wasn't there something about like
Who knows how
cultures
words are formed?
like throwing bones in like
They
witchcraft
would
or something
carve-
weird,
Oh, there's that too.
right?
Or maybe
Carve
yeah,
dice out of
dice,
bones too.
yeah, dice bones.
dice bones.
I don't know where that would go, but I don't.
That's
think
extremely relevant. Yeah.
Okay.
Dice bones.
So I'm
a
just happy
bone
Tom has kept it on
to pick.
away from.
no, yeah, I mentioned earlier that pretty much any phrase can be taken in a certain light,
Yeah,
but
we're
we're
not
not
gonna
gonna.
go
We're
there.
adults here. We're not
Right.
gonna.
It doesn't
go
even
that
make
direction.
sense though.
It could.
Well, If
It
give
couldn't.
Thomas just a few seconds.
He's had
to
an
derail
hour,
This.
so
All right, look
Okay.
it up, wizard.
You want to just go for
I
it?
think
What
we
are we?
should right
Are we
now.
just all voting on?
I'm gonna bone to pick. This is just such a weird one.
I know
It
that's
does
why
not
it's an
make any
interesting
sense.
one.
I don't like
I don't-
Trav's idea at all. I think it's terrible,
Okay.
and I honestly don't remember what you said.
Cannibalism,
that was the second
headhunters.
thing you said.
Well,
Oh,
I
When before you look it up,
Yeah.
when was the last time you used that? Before this, before the previous few weeks and months and.
well, and I'm trying to think of when it's presented. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in a close conversation with someone where you lean over and go, "I have a bone to pick with you."
Into the mic.
if somebody ever
it's-
leans over,
It's
and
always
whispers
like a yell
Yeah,
across.
it's
Hey, I have a bone to pick with you. It's not
Right,
this.
right.
You're having
Hey,
a
McFly!
conversation.
No,
I thought I
it's-
told you.
Well, it's the initial. They're across the way, and then you yell, "Hey!"
It's
and then you start walking towards them, and then when they're in earshot, when
I have
they
a-
then
yeah.
it
It's
comes out.
kind of.
'Cause
I
rarely-
envision
yeah,
it
yeah.
like as fighting words almost.
Them's
I
fighting
have
words.
a problem with something you did, and instead of saying
Right.
that, I'm gonna
It's a
say
big- it's a big-
I have a bone to pick.
It's a
with
big
you."
disagreement. Hey, want to fight?
You know what I think though? I
'Cause
think
in
it
the-
comes from two things.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Well,
Besides Lord.
so Lord
Lorg
has
of the
been
Rings.
said, yeah.
Yeah. Lorg of the Bones.
Also, Lorg
Okay,
of the Bones.
good. Okay.
Morgue of the Flies. That's a lot of it.
When you say, or when someone says, "I have a bone to pick with you," what
I
is the
never have
next
said that, just so you
thing
know.
that come? You know what I mean?
That person would the
next-
answer.
well,
Oh,
no,
the
no,
response
like
would be,
kind of
"Don't you dare
what's
touch my bones."
synonymous
well,
with
it's like
that?
we need to talk, which is
We need to
basically
talk, I've got a bone. But
but
is there another saying
yeah,
that
but-
comes with the bone to pick with you?
That's
you know what I mean?
similar?
the
Yeah.
other thing I heard
I've
that I
got
was
an
thinking.
axe to grind.
Yes.
a
Axe
little
to
bit.
grind.
I have an axe to grind. That's
and
kind of
a beef. I got some beef with you.
Beef and bones and
Beef
axes.
bones
And broth.
axes. So here you have
Beef bones.
So there's a farmer.
So the Neanderthal stew.
No,
That's it.
Lorg making.
I picture an angry farmer with his axe going out to the cow, slicing it,
That's
getting the
interesting
meat
though.
off.
The axe to grind, is that refining? So I need to like clear something up or clarify something. But my second point was the bone to pick. The like, why do people say that instead of
and the nitty gritty?
Instead of I have a problem with
Right.
you.
Well, we
don't like being confrontational.
Right.
Totally. We just try to make other ways. I mean, most of these sayings. You
it's
could
really
say
beating around the bush.
You could say what you want to say.
Is.
You could say what it means.
We don't like saying what we mean.
No, we don't.
And we like to make a little riddle, but we still all get what we're saying by saying.
Yes.
But we're just using different words that aren't as.
Yeah, and
like I want to fight right now. It's like, hey, I have a bone to pick with you, and it's like it kind of softens the blow a bit.
Yeah.
So should we
softens the blow?
Look it up? I mean,
yeah, that's good.
I mean, and it could be just a farmer. It might not even be a human interaction.
I don't think.
You think pigs are telling each
other?
No.
A farmer talking to his animals.
Okay. No. Okay. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
not
so
yet. Don't
validate
there's a farmer.
That's
the dumbest.
Hey, I have a beef with you, cow. And I have a bone.
Before I go out and shoot you,
right?
I need to tell you.
So he would say I have. He would say I have a beef with you to the cow,
this up.
and I have a chicken with you, chicken.
Oh, wow! Right. Who you calling chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah, who you calling chicken?
Second dumbest thing. Okay.
All right. So should we just look it up,
or we do? Because this is.
I know.
Bad.
I got it all queued up.
Awful.
So let's see. We got. We are.
What did we do last time? What does bone to pick with you mean?
Okay.
Or bone to pick with you
origins.
Bone to pick with you origins.
Most sources state that this expression comes from a dog trying to pick off the meat from a bone, and one connotation of this idiom is trying to solve a difficult, time-consuming problem.
I feel like I was kind of
no one was close
because there was that scene.
What does it say about Lord?
There's the scene. Hold on.
This is likely related to the fact that dogs often gnaw on a bone for very long periods of time, even when most of the meat is gone. But I don't think I've ever heard it in that.
Well, I think a bone to pick with you. They're kind of
like
saying
a problem
is like I've been sort of stewing over this.
Stew again.
Stewing, back to food.
Back to Zora.
But I just have to throw it out. I was very close with the sword and the stone analogy, because after the older brother eats that bone, he throws it to the dogs, and they start gnawing on the bone.
So that's the origin.
Right.
But then it says having a bone to pick with someone means having a grievance that needs to be talked out. I have a bone to pick with you, Wallace.
So
I heard how you criticized me at the meeting last night.
There's our
Wallace.
scene.
Yeah.
There's our scene.
Wallace.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should steal that.
No.
So that does make sense. So an animal did start it though.
So we were in the ballpark.
It was definitely animal related, you know.
Well,
I mean, all animals have bones, so that makes sense.
You answered your own.
Yeah, I just did.
Vertebrates.
Oh wow! So the dog is gnawing on the bone.
And it's sort of like
even after all the meat has been taken, all the sustenance, but the dog.
I still got something. There's something more. We're not done. We're not finished.
Yep.
Even though we probably should be.
It says.
Like
Okay.
To repeatedly pull at something, kind of like we're just constantly beating this dead horse.
A gripe.
But I've got the bone to pick.
Let's pick this together.
Yeah,
Let's pick this apart.
Yeah. Let's just get all the meat. Let's get all the meat off here. There's still something left.
Right.
It's like unresolved. It's not done yet.
It's like a festering sliver.
We ain't finished
that
yet.
You're picking at.
We ain't done yet.
Ugh. So now I just imagine the dog just eating the bone. And
this type of usage dates back to the 1500s.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I mean, you picture dogs in the alleys on a cobblestone street.
Yep, cobbles.
Just gnawing. They're starving, and they need to get every last morsel.
Okay, here's 1500s.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say
wait.
England or okay? Wait.
The other more common
Lorg is
connotation
not going to
Shelve
pop up.
my-
I'm
my-
worried about
I
you.
have a point.
Yeah,
I have a point.
The other more common connotation is to try to settle a dispute with someone. This usage only goes back to
Them's,
the 1800s.
yeah, them's fight
It may
words.
have developed from the earlier usage. Alternatively, it might come from the idea of two dogs fighting over a bone.
Okay.
The most common
just
is to
don't-
have a bone to pick with someone.
Yeah.
But
I don't picture
Nisha.
the dogs.
hey, I have a bone to pick with you. Alan,
Nisha.
why? What's wrong? Nisha, you asked to borrow my notes from the English class last year, and I agreed to do that. I didn't agree for you to copy them and start selling them to everyone else in the class.
Oh, boy.
Nisha, why would she do that?
Nisha,
I don't know,
move
but
on.
clearly he has a
So
bone
anyways,
to pick with her.
Yeah, so 1500s.
Okay,
So
what,
almost
England
as
or-
long
It's
as
always
Lord.
England.
Anyway,
Almost as far
nothing-
back as
almost
Lord.
as far
Anything
back, but
in
not
the
quite.
1500s
But
is
so,
England.
Fifteen
nothing else is
hundreds. What
happening.
are there? Cobblestones?
Yeah,
Is
always.
there a sick, gross little city square?
It's the
Fucking
Black Plague.
Some
It's
guy-
just
it's
okay,
gross.
okay. So
It's
some
sewer.
some guy is walking to the tavern, right?
Right.
Oh, totally.
And he's fuming because
Right.
so and so used his
His last.
maybe
bar of
poop hole.
soap.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Something.
right.
Mhm.
And so he's walking, and then he looks over into the alley, and there's this dog just gnawing on this bone.
Yep.
And he stops and pauses and looks and sees the bone and is like, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah. I'm going
And
to
then
try
he-
this phrase.
Yep.
This is
And
where it
then
happens.
he walks in the tavern and
Yeah.
says,
Hey,
hey,
I think
get your damn hands off.
your meat hooks. Get your meat hooks off of her. I think
and then I've got a bone to pick with you.
yeah.
And the whole place
and
is
the whole place just stops
silent.
and
and
looks at him.
They
See.
all start laughing.
Yeah.
They all
Old
start
drunk
laughing.
Jimmy's
Yeah.
over there.
Little, yep, it smells awful.
and he's like, well, that didn't
and
work.
then he explains himself and he says,
right.
Yeah.
Here's
I saw
what
a
I
dog
meant
in
by
the
that.
alleyway.
Perchance.
The meat was gone off the bone, but he was
No.
still going at
Not
it.
all of it.
No.
Not all of it.
Right.
Yeah. And
Sinews.
so, and I had
I think
this
probably it
unresolved-
just was a
yeah.
whittled down expression of like a dog chewing on the bone has an unresolved thing. I still have a thing with you. And
That
then someone's
sounds
like,
that
that
sounds like
didn't
a-
quite,
yeah,
that
yeah.
took a lot longer. Is there possibly a way
To shorten
like,
that
say
definition.
that.
as dogs dither over the wood, and everyone just kind of like get to the
Sinners
point.
Yeah.
in the hands of
Yeah.
an angry God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
later
yeah.
it's like the expression howdy. You know where that came from?
Duty.
No,
Okay.
howdy. Howdy. Think of it.
How are
How
you doing?
do
You do.
do?
How do
you
you do? How do you do?
That's what we do. We shorten things.
Yeah, so instead
So it's
of the
probably a longer expression, and then it
I got it.
How do you got bone to pick?
I like two dogs
bone.
arguing over bones on the ground. I have things I still am, and then somebody came up with
It's like, I've got a bone to
and they're
pick.
like, you're not using dog, you're not saying dog
Well,
anymore.
going-
Everybody knows what I mean.
No,
now.
going-
Right.
I don't need to say dogs anymore.
May
Right.
I? Going
Yes,
back
go.
to the tavern, right?
Yep, of
There's
course.
one guy in
In
the dark
59.
corner who didn't laugh.
Striker.
Who didn't
Strider.
laugh. No.
Oh.
He didn't laugh.
Eric Dorr.
And he thought about it. And he had
Yeah,
a little
a little
quill with ink. And he said,
He said
I've-
gold, pure gold.
Oh, that's
and
gold,
you know what his
Jerry.
name was? Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Lorg.
Yeah, Lord came out of the depths of Mordor.
Yeah.
Oh my
Shakespeare's
goodness.
like, well, that's
Okay.
going in.
So dark tavern. Yep. Guarantee though, a lot of these were shortened.
Yeah,
by,
yeah.
I mean, they're full on sentences.
Time and
All right,
age.
Sherlock. Yeah.
There's another expression.
Okay.
Like, no shit,
That's-
Sherlock.
yeah,
it would
yeah.
have been like,
It's like
well,
yeah.
Sherlock would
Sherlock
have
Holmes would have
resolved
found that out real quick, but you're no Sherlock Holmes,
So they just shortened it.
and you took longer.
Yep.
There's
There's a lot of these that's probably what happened, Travis. So are we gonna be done picking our bones with that
I
particular
think
idiom?
that's picked
quite
apart.
clean. I don't have any more bones
Pretty
to
well.
pick. Yeah.
Beano 800. Call today.